Sometimes I forget just how much I enjoy a good old-fashioned kart racing game, even though I don't really get around to playing them too often. Guess it's easily done when you spend most of your time knee-deep in shooty bang-bang FPS games, but it always genuinely surprises me how a day can just utterly melt away playing something like Mario Kart. It reminds me of how excited I was one day when I learned about the existence of Doom Kart. It was a revelation. Just the sheer notion that two things I greatly enjoy could be smushed together into a single unholy mass of potential gaming nirvana. It sounded perfect. It really did, only it never actually came to be. Oh sure, the idea was there, but ideas can only take you so far. Once the harsh reality of the legwork required to bring such an idea to life had set in, it became apparent that there just wasn't enough manpower available to get the heavy lifting done. In all honesty, it was a little heartbreaking. I had gotten myself ever so slightly worked up over the idea of Doom Kart coming to fruition, but instead I was greeted with the slow grinding to a halt of an inevitably stalled project. Dead before it could even cross the starting line. Time inevitably marched on, and the idea of anything resembling Doom Kart simply faded from memory, washed away under the torrent of mods that I sought out to play on a weekly basis. As luck would have it, however, I stumbled back into the company of a fantastic total conversion mod by the name of Sonic Robo Blast 2. Many of you will have already heard of it before. I even listed it as one of my personal favorite Doom total conversion mods in a recent video, which you should absolutely go watch. It's essentially a standalone Sonic fan game that transforms Doom into a tremendously well-crafted, third-person, high-speed platforming adventure. As it happens, the dream of a Kart spin-off had also taken root within the Robo Blast modding community. Only here, the dream hadn't faded away. Here, the dream became reality. Sonic Robo Blast 2 Kart, which I will be abbreviating to SRB2K from here on in, was released in 2018. As you might imagine, its arrival did not escape my attention, dedicating an almost 6-hour-long livestream to taking it for a spin and losing myself in a haze of alcohol-infused karting joy. My time with SRB2K came and went. I had my fun, I drank my fill, and then I put it down to one side as the inevitable torrent of Doom mods came once more to seep between the cracks of my mind. And I'm sorry to say, I forgot. I forgot just how much I absolutely loved SRB2K back when it released, how astonished I was by the fact that it had managed to break the Doom Kart curse, to bring a kart racer experience to life using the bedrock of Doom, and of course the Doom Legacy source port upon which Sonic Robo Blast 2 is based. I forgot that I never got around to making the kind of video that Sonic Robo Blast 2 Kart deserves. So here I am, several years later, booting up SRB2K once more, eager to find out whether that same spark remained. I had to admit I was worried. Worried that I might have moved on, that my tastes may have dulled or changed, that the person that enjoyed SRB2K back then might be a different person now. Mercifully, it didn't take too long to find out. In fact, all it took was loading up Daytona Speedway, and oh boy, I don't think there's a more pure way of finding out whether you still have a pulse. It is pretty much everything I could possibly want from a kart track. But that said, SRB2K is more than just Daytona Speedway, because it is absolutely stuffed with tracks, many of them absolute bangers. 60 official tracks in total, a current count, which is just an embarrassment of riches, to be perfectly honest, but the kicker is, unless you're playing online, which is just a wonderful maelstrom of chaos that we'll acquaint ourselves with soon enough, the only available option with which to play them is Time Attack. Now personally, this isn't a deal breaker for me. If anything, it's a fantastic starting point. Time Attack strips back all power-ups besides the speed boost and pits you against the clock. Mercifully, it's a much less lonely endeavor than it sounds, the phantoms of other timed runs giving you something to chase, and not to mention vital clues when it comes to seeking out those occasionally vital time-saving shortcuts. Each track has a silver medal time and a gold medal time respectively, and a silver run won't usually ask too much of you just gotta hit your boosts, cut the occasional corner, but Gold does not screw about. Gold is where you need to pull every possible trick out of the bag and watch that lead time trial phantom like a hawk, because sometimes they'll just disappear. Nailing a shortcut that up until now you probably had no idea even existed. Now, I'll freely admit the incentive for gathering medals is kinda basic. Getting enough will unlock successive batches of tracks, which you're largely gonna do just by playing them anyway, but after that, shooting for a higher stash of medals will allow you to unlock such things as hard game speed modes, and beyond that, Encore mode, which is essentially mirror mode if I'm not mistaken, flipping the tracks for an extra bit of novelty. A few key skills you'll need to develop in pursuit of shaving seconds off your lap times are, of course, boost start, where a well-timed accelerator press will build you up a propulsive boost right off the starting line, and drift boosting. If you've played any recent Mario Karts, you'll have a fairly clear idea about how drift boosting works. Hitting a button will put you in a controlled slide. The longer the slide, the bigger the boost, topping out at Tier 3. The degree of real estate you'll require to achieve that Tier 3 boost, however, is pretty damn extensive. It's not going to happen often. You can get it on Daytona Speedway, but quite frankly it takes forever to build, and for the majority of your time on most tracks, you'll be shooting for a Tier 1 boost instead. Naturally, tracks here are very much built with this drifting mechanic in mind. If you're not using it to round those corners, it's safe to say you're not going to be winning any races or smashing lap times. That said, with regards to time attack as a mode, some tracks are much better suited to it, considering that some of them also throw hazards into the mix, and these certainly feel more geared towards the chaos of multiplayer than hitting a clean racing line. But all the same, it's nice to bag yourself some practice time before you do truly decide to throw yourself into the searing fires of online power-up enabled competition. But honestly, losing myself in time attack was a simple joy that I don't think I'd felt in a good long while. All my worries just melting away in a perfectly executed sequence of drift boosts. Oh, and let's not forget the music. Boy, there are some choice tracks selected for the soundtrack of this particular mod, handpicked to suit the theme of whatever track you may be playing, be it sourced from the world of Sonic, F-Zero, or even further afield. That said, as I careened through this kaleidoscopic collection of cunning karting, a grin almost permanently plastered across my face, I couldn't help but feel that there was something missing. Sure, the boost drifting was immensely satisfying, the tracks well designed, but this went deeper than that. An absence that could not be excused considering the evolutionary roots of where SRB2K came from. In short, where the heck was Doom Guy? Oh wait, never mind, there he is. One of the wonderful things about SRB2K is that hidden alongside its relatively light-looking roster of characters is also an option to enable a roster of bonus characters. Doom Guy, of course, being a welcome inclusion, but should you feel the need, there's Kazuma Kiryu, Hatsune Miku, and a whole host of others built in as part of a bonus character pack, which you'll have to dig into add-ons in order to enable. Oh hey, did I mention that you can enable 3D models for these characters? I know it's not for everyone, but there's a particular charm to it for me. For best results, I would recommend finding Jack Jim's SRB2 Kart 3D DLC pack. Boosts the roster, and makes the whole thing look like it suddenly jumped an entire console generation. It's great. Even then, there are a few omissions here that I can't help but notice. Ever wanted to see a cacodemon drifting down a volcano track? Consider it done. Pining for a comical scream emanating from Caleb every time he hits a boost? Say no more. Heck, maybe all you want to do is kick back, crack open some Monster Ultra Zero, and take the lawnmower out for a spin. Don't let your memes be dreams. Honestly, there is a bewildering amount of character packs on the forums. The ones I found were discovered just from searching for Doom, and personally I'm hoping one day that the entire Doom enemy roster will turn up as a conveniently downloadable pack in its entirety. Because let's face it, the world needs a chunky Mancubus card character with wide load plastered on the back as a license plate. But in the case that I've somehow managed to overlook the existence of such a pack, please, by all means, let me know. As you might imagine, modded content also works for multiplayer, the true crucible of Sonic Robo Blast 2 Kart. Mercifully, you don't need to have done any prep before delving into a modded server. Everything is downloaded automatically, and before you know it, well, depending on how many assets. Sometimes after a significant amount of downloading, you'll be careening around a nightmare hell version of Daytona Speedway, wondering just how much stranger it could possibly get. Oh, believe me, it can get stranger. Multiplayer in SRB2K is chaos. Wonderful, nonsensical chaos, and somewhat of a visceral change of pace when you find yourself bumping off your opponents instead of phasing gracefully through their phantoms as you normally would in Time Attack. Yeah, there is no grace here. Naturally, all power-ups are enabled. This allows for a lot of the usual suspects, your boost items, your banana peels, blue shell equivalents that deliver their payloads with a quite honestly terrifying sound. And then you've got the likes of the Eggman monitor, which can cause an opponent to drop their item and then eventually explode, taking out any nearby opponents. And I don't know about you, but to me, that is very much the definition of a dick move. Can you tell it happened to me quite a lot? Modded servers also tend to have an add-on by the name of Honk Mod. It is probably one of my favorite features, allowing any player with an empty item slot to use it instead to annoy the ever-living heck out of their enemies. Seriously, you can go ham on this thing, but mercifully there is a safeguard for excessive honking built in. Honk too hard, Kart goes boom. That is until you reach the finish line, and then you might as well make the most of it, because now you have unlimited honks. Now, depending on the server, honks are randomly assigned at the start of each track, some more annoying than others, some turning out to be entire monologues, like that one time my horn constituted the entire Dead Grandma section from Joel's Super Ghostbusters album.
When Grandma has died, you get really pissed cause she owe you money.
Seriously, a modern classic. You should listen to it. In all honesty though, this is the kind of dumb shit I crave from my online multiplayer experiences. The kind of stuff that you don't get too often these days because everything got streamlined down to god-awful matchmaking lobbies where you don't get to bump into regulars, shoot the shit, and, just have a good time. That's not to say it's all complete mindless fun. There are considerations to make when it comes to picking a cart, chief amongst which is the stat grid. Even on custom servers with bewilderingly expansive rosters, the stat grid is worth taking a moment to understand, even if for the most part it makes my eyes glaze over because all I want to do is pick a character I like and not really have to worry about weight versus acceleration versus top speed. Oh hey, a tank! Sure, I'm not going to win, but yes please, a tank! Have I mentioned some of the custom tracks that can pop up on multiplayer rotation? Boy, some of them are impressive as all heck. I mean, just look at the Super Meat Boy track. It's got saw blade hazards, it's got grind rails, it is an absolute rush start to finish. And this kind of stuff makes me very excited for the future of SRB2K. It means that there's going to be a constant feed of people creating and sharing and just discovering new things in these custom servers. It's the kind of stuff that, in my opinion, sets this game apart from its more console-constrained brethren. I mean, sure, it's occasionally going to be a bit of a mixed bag. You'll have beta versions of tracks, poor signage, glitched sectors, just flat-out bad design in some cases, but still, it's nice to see people given the opportunity to contribute. And hey, people have got to learn how to do things one way or another. Did I mention SRB2K has a battle mode? It's got a battle mode. Personally, I can't stand playing it for more than 2 rounds at a time, but hey, if that sounds like your idea of a good time, feel free to come down and get railed by successive spike balls to the jacksie, which will be promptly accompanied by my ceaseless, unending honks of protest. But really, at the end of the day, I feel like one of the most positive things I can say about SRB2K is that it tickles my brain in the happy place. And you know what's all the better? That it doesn't need to resort to any bullshit tactics like a fucking battle pass to give me that serotonin kick to generate some artificial sense of progress. You know what SRB2K does have? Good gameplay, a point-based leaderboard, and custom servers that give you a nice little sense of belonging. It doesn't have any shiny bullshit that's got no bearing on anything whatsoever besides showing off how much you know life one particular game to anonymous randos on the internet. It just gives you a nice place to go and a chill game to play, and God, why is that so difficult for so many games to understand? Anyway, I'm kind of running out of things to say here. Give me long enough and I'll always devolve into ranting. But yeah, SRB2K is a flat-out great card game, and its multiplayer, ridiculous amounts of fun. It has grabbed me for hours upon hours upon hours, and I've honestly had so much fun that I've considered maybe putting together my own custom server. Maybe doing a regular kart night, provided the process isn't too overly complicated. But yeah, who knows? Maybe you'll be able to turn up and just honk me to death. Sound fun? Certainly sounds like fun to me, and Lord knows we could all do with a little bit more fun in these trying times. Thanks for watching whatever the heck this video is. Part therapy, part atoning for not having made a dedicated video on this mod sooner. Endless appreciation to Sonic Team Jr. and Kart Crew for bringing Sonic Robo Blast 2 as well as Kart to life. Both of them endlessly worthy of your time, and if you needed any more incentive, they're free. It's free real estate, so give it a whirl for yourself. To that end, you'll find a link, as usual, in the description below. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. It's the least I can ask. Feel free to let me know what the weather's like in your corner of the globe, because as I write this, I am goddamn melting, and would be tremendously grateful if the sun would sod off already. This has been Mr. Icarus. Thank you very much for watching. Icarus out.